Philly sports are vibing. The vibes in this city are going up and fast. We're going to talk about the vibes in this city and how great they are. The Eagles trade one of their wide receivers yesterday. We're going to go into the details of this trade and what it means, and all throughout the show, remembering the voices of Philly radio that tragically passed away yesterday. Trending in the AM, we are live right here in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube and Twitter. You know the drill. Wherever you are watching, hit that like button, hit that share button. Of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page starting today out at 8:05. It's also the only place you can vote on our poll question of the day. So if you're watching on Twitter, head on over to the YouTube page to vote real quick. Should Cooper Dejean be the starting outside cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles? Yes or no? Leave him in the slot. So like, share, subscribe, vote on the poll question, guys. We got lots to get into today. Lots of comments already rolling in. The vibes are high in Philadelphia, and that is what I feel I want to talk about to everybody today. Why we're feeling so good. This change in the air. But obviously the Eagles made a big trade yesterday. Well, a trade yesterday involving one of their wide receivers. It was not A.J. Brown. So we're going to go into that trade pretty quickly here and what it means. And obviously, you find good citizens. We are remembering the legacies of Pierre Robert and Harry Donahue, who both yesterday passed away. 77 for Harry Donahue, 70 for Pierre Robert. Legends in the radio game, legends in the sports world, legends, voices that we all grew up listening to. So we're remembering them throughout the day. Yes, Adam, rest in peace to the great, great Pierre Robert. Rock and roll royalty right there. Good morning, Duck. How you doing? Coop should go where he's needed. Right now there's a large deficit at cornerback 2, and it seems easier to replace nickel than cornerback 2. We'll talk about that in a second. That's right. Pour one out for the great Pierre Robert. And don't forget about Harry Donahue. Maxey season. We're going to talk about the trade in a second. Good morning, David. 8:05, we thrive. We keep going on up, right? We keep going on up. What's up? Yes, Bazoo Newt morning. Good morning, Robert. How you doing? All right, so let's get into the Eagles trade. The Eagles traded for Jets slot cornerback Michael Carter II and the Jets 2027 7th-round pick. The Eagles gave up wide receiver John Maxey and their 2027 6th-round pick. John Maxey they acquired earlier in the late in camp for Harrison Bryant and a 5th, 6th-round swap. So the Eagles went out and addressed cornerback, but not cornerback 2, brought in a slot position. And what does that mean? Because everybody has been talking all year that Cooper Dejean should go to the outside, that Cooper Dejean will want to go to the outside and play the outside cornerback spot. So does this signal that Cooper Dejean will begin playing outside strictly? Or is there something else to it? And I think there's more to it than just Cooper's going outside, Mitchie is your slot guy, and that's it. Wait, where Mitchell? Mitchell? What? Acho did a good breakdown with John Clark on the move. I did not catch that. Michael Carter is a really solid, strong slot corner. Good enough that he got a 3-year, $30 million extension last year. In 5 years, he's only given up 3 touchdowns. Only 8 penalties he's committed in all those years in the league. His quarterback rating, he holds opponents to pretty good. You know, he's forced 4 turnovers in his career. But he is a slot corner. I think it was something like 98% of his snaps have been played on the outside in the NFL. I don't think that means he is going to play in the slot immediately, okay? We know that he is pretty damn solid in the slot. He has been injured a lot, kind of like Jacorian Bennett as well. It means Ringo is ass. We know that. That's the one thing we do know. Now, what we don't know was if the other traded cornerback, often injured, Jacorian Bennett, is ass or not too. Vic Fangio's spoken nonstop about wanting to keep Cooper Dejean in the slot. But he's also talked about nonstop wanting to always have the 11 best players on the field at the same time, no matter what their positions are. So to me, this trade signals a few things. They're still going to give Jacorian Bennett a shot, maybe even next week against Green Bay. If that does not work out, they've got the option to move Cooper Dejean to the outside. It also signals that Vic Fangio just wants great players and that he'll figure out the details later. You might start seeing 3 linebackers on the field at a time with just 2 cornerbacks. You might see Cooper Dejean bounce from the outside to the inside to the outside based off of personnel and opponents. This is leaning into, in my opinion, more of a positionless football team that this Eagles defense is becoming, where you've got a safety that could play in the box, out, cover, play out in the slot. You've got options to have Dean Campbell and Bond with just 2 cornerbacks on the field at the same time. It gives you some versatility, this move. But again, it does not instantly signal that Cooper Dejean's just outside, this guy's going to start inside, and that's it. That's what we need, an injury-prone player. Yeah, Howie's scrambling at this cornerback position, that's for sure. And injuries, he's been banged up this year, missed a couple games last year. But when playing, he's a really darn good player. Vic wanted him. He's not moving Coop. Vic wanted Michael Carter. For what? If he's not moving Coop, then why did he want him? If Cooper gets hurt, Carter is serviceable replacement. Yeah, I think that's a fair thing too. Adds to the depth of the secondary. I don't think we've seen the end of Cooper Dejean in the slot with this trade. I just think this is adding more depth. And Michael Carter wanted to come here so badly, he gave up his $5 million injury bonus to come here. $5 million injury bonus guarantee to come here. That's how bad he wanted to come here. Quinyon Mitchell is an Eagles player. Yes. Oh, you weren't very specific there in your comment. No needs needed. Eagles ready for repeat. There's still need and depth too. Yes, absolutely. I think this is just a simple. This was Howie. We talked with Chris Franklin yesterday, and Chris Franklin was very open about how he doesn't see the big moves happening for the Eagles or other teams, right? I don't think this is a big move that some people are making out to be. John Mechie's been a waste. He had like 4 catches on the year. Terrible kick returner. You flopped your struggling player for a player that maybe has fallen out of favor with the Jets. A Jets team that's terrible. Michael Carter can come in here and be. I think Michael Carter fills the Avonte Maddox role of last year. A backup slot corner that can also back up safety, that can back up, outside. Could do a little bit of everything. Howie patched you up all over. Graham, even back, you're ready. There's still more work to do. And if you know Howie Roseman, he's never done. He's never content. I think you are still going to see Jacorian Bennett on the outside against Green Bay. I think there's a bare minimum chance that you still might see Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson at some point. I think this move is more one of those onuses on something like, we don't criticize Howie Roseman often, but his offseason wasn't very good. Free agency-wise or drafting-wise. Mac McWilliams is clearly not ready to play or be counted on to be a depth piece. I think this is the start of Howie Roseman. Well, not the start. I guess Brandon Graham was the start of that. And, actually, Fred Johnson was the start of that when they brought him back, at the beginning of the season. This is just another piece in Howie Roseman fixing arguably one of his lesser off seasons. I met Pierre Robert like 5 times between the Camp Out for Hunger and the Cardboard Classic. Look, Pierre Robert, legend, started working at MMR in 1981. Just think about how many years that is working for one company. A legend. And I remember sending in an email this is a decade plus ago. I sent him a lot of emails. Learned a lot about rock and roll from Pierre Robert. I sent in a request one day for a workforce block while I was working and delivering pizzas at the pizza shop. And he read it out loud. He's like, and this goes out to Phil Stiefel at Fox's Pizza in Kennett Square. This work block's for you. Keep on doing your good work, good citizen. It just made my day, man. It just was so cool to hear him say my name on the radio. It was an awesome moment. Bills lost at Oliver. We wrecked. I did see that. Just a back of the roster move. I don't know if Michael Carter's a back of the roster move. He's a back of the roster. How would you describe a back of the roster move that can move into the forefront if necessary? He's a guy that, if called upon, can perform better than the other guys that have been called upon and failed. I don't think that came out the way I wanted it to. I don't know if you understand the way I'm saying it. He's a back-end guy that can be a front-end guy if needed. 44 years is a long time at a job, especially in the radio and the media world, Davey. I just saw Jeff Kerr got laid off by CBS Sports. He only lasted 10 years. I mean, at that job. In sports and in media and in radio, I know Pierre Robert was radio and rock, not sports, but in the media world, people don't last that long. You think Howie makes any more moves? I think Howie might make 2 more moves, 3 more moves, but they're going to be Michael Carter type moves. They're not going to be Bradley Chubb or Trey Hendrickson or anything like that. Ward's not coming here. It's going to be one of those moves that lasts a long, or one of those or trade deadlines where you see a lot of things, but they're all fringe. They're all back end. Learned a lot about rock and roll, but hates the Beatles. Yeah. Well, I'm not a Beatles guy either. Not it by any means. Phil, by end of show, we want your Ravens Miami take. Oh, there's an interesting game tonight. It's going to affect the trade deadline massively. Tonight's game, Ravens-Dolphins, is the last. You got a 2-5 Ravens, 2-6 Dolphins team. If the Dolphins lose, they are 100% sellers this weekend. If the Ravens lose, they might be sellers this weekend. I mean, there's been names on the Dolphins that have been rumored to be on the trade block, not just for the Eagles, but for lots of teams around the NFL. If they squeak back to 3-6, maybe they think they've got a chance. If the Ravens fall to 2-6 tonight, then they might want to sell. I don't know what assets the Ravens would consider selling, maybe an Isaiah Likely. I don't know if anybody on their defense, which has been atrocious. Lamar Jackson is supposed to be back based off of my fantasy team. I think I'm going to rest him still, I'm not playing him, but that's another subject. But Lamar is expected to be back. Yeah, one of their tight ends could get traded if they lose tonight. Did Pierre Robert start at Y100? 1981, Y100 wasn't around yet, and he was already at MMR. So I'm not sure about that, Adam. How he drafted Campbell and Makuba, signed Tank, that's a pretty good offseason to me. Again, I'm not crushing it, but if you look past those 2 guys, look at some of the draft picks. Look at the rest of it. Mac McWilliams. None of the offensive linemen have helped. Smile Mondin hasn't really even been seen on special teams. Antoine Powell-Ryland. There are a lot of guys that he brought in the draft that didn't work out. He let Isaiah Rodgers go. Now let's be honest. Before Tank Bigsby last week, we thought he was a bust of a trade. John Mechie, you gave up Thomas Booker, who would help this defensive line massively for. Howie Roseman didn't have an A-plus offseason like he did the year before. Campbell and Michkov was great. And the future is bright because of that. But the rest of it, I'm over Lamar Jackson. Guy doesn't get it done. Yeah. Absolutely agree with you on that. I'm done with Lamar for this year. He needs to regroup. Yeah, it's funny. In my family fantasy football league, I drafted Lamar Jackson. Then for shits and giggles, I drafted Justin Herbert, thinking that would be a trade, that I'd be trading one of those two guys. Well, Lamar Jackson might not even play much this year if they'll shut Lamar down early this year if they lose tonight. There's a lot on the line tonight for two teams that had playoff expectations, but also for the rest of the league, knowing there's a bunch of guys that can get traded on either roster if, depending on who loses. So there's a lot on the line. Maybe Lamar wants out of Baltimore. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Any GM will love getting two starters from a draft. Phil, stop capping. Look, I'm not saying it. But that's also why I think they're not looking for top-end players, because they trust their starters. They just don't trust. His work on building the depth on this team, K1, was not good. He continued to add to the starting front-end guys, but the depth just isn't there this year. Last year, Slay goes down, you got Rodgers to step right in. Someone goes down the offensive line, you had Steen to step right in. Nolan Smith goes down, you don't got a backup. Jalen Carter goes down, your depth on the defensive line's weak. So I just think and K1, I'm grading Howie Roseman's offseason based off of the expectations he set because they've been so great. It was a good offseason. Was not great, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I don't think he's still great. Not asking for him to be fired. Not thinking this isn't a Super Bowl team still. Just saying he did okay. Guys, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. Vote in the poll. Right now, the poll question is at 69, Mitchie Poo, 31. Should Cooper Dejean be the starting outside cornerback from here on out? Yes, 69%. No, 31%. No one's going to vote, period, the rest of the show, just to keep that at 69% for Mitchie Poo. No, you cannot. You cannot have starter-level players at every depth position. I get that, K1. There is a salary cap, but you think he built a strong enough depth team this year? Stop. Marshawn, I would never, ever call for Howie Roseman to be fired. Yeah, it's there. It's there. It's there every single day, the YouTube poll question. I'm not sure where you're watching or how you get it up on there. Oh, you see it now. Gotcha. There's always a poll. Oh, Davey must have voted. He ruined the poll question for Mitchie Poo. I want to also talk about the fact that moving Cooper Dejean out of the slot, which some people think, goes against exactly what Vic Fangio has said nonstop. And he said it again on Tuesday. Cooper Dejean is a good, Coop is a damn good nickel corner, one of NFL's best. And he doesn't want to move him. And it made me think of a question. All right, so we're talking about Cooper Dejean, his role with all these other players and the depth and stuff. It made me ask myself a question. Is Cooper Dejean one of the 5 most important Eagles on this roster? Jalen Hurts, obviously. Arguably, Lane Johnson and A.J. Brown. Jalen Carter. Where is Cooper Dejean in the most importance? Losing someone like Cooper Dejean, how bad it would hurt. I'd argue that he's a top 5 most important player, if not really damn close. Maybe more than A.J. Brown. We just won really, really handily without A.J. Brown. Do we win without Cooper Dejean some of these games? I can see the YouTube shorts now. Exactly. No. Phil insists that Howie was not has not built a strong enough team thus far. Start to level. Oh my God, you guys are ridiculous. Never. I might have said that once in the past, like in 2021 or something like that, but not right now. You guys are ridiculous. Stay on point. Not top 5. Davey would put Cooper Dejean at 8 or 9. 8 or 9. No, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, maybe A.J. Brown. I don't know. At worst, I would think Cooper Dejean is maybe the 6th most important player on this team. Maybe Saquon's over him. Maybe. I don't know. Breaking news, Phil leaves out Quinyon Mitchell in the top 5. I just said his name ahead of Cooper Dejean. The hell are you doing? Yeah, Marshawn's on his hay game today. That is definitely not true. On his best day, Daryl Morey is not better than somebody on their worst day. Okay? Saquon, bro. Yeah. That Morey comment, that Morey comment literally insults me and my intelligence. Out of all the jokes, that one is the least important of all of them. Really. Without a doubt, the worst comment. That's not even trolling. That breaks my heart. Like, really. Phil says fire Daryl Morey, or I say fire them all. No, that's not true either. See, here's the thing, though, Davey. Zach Bond, you put more important than Cooper Dejean. But you've got 3 started. Like, you don't have a backup to Cooper Dejean. You've got a backup to Zach Bond. Just saying. You said Hurts, Lane, AJ, Jalen, maybe Cooper, and then I followed it up and I redid it and I added Quinyon Mitchell because it's a debatable thing. But honestly, also, Marshawn, Cooper plays the slot and outside. He can play safety, stops the run. He blitzes after the quarterback. Quinyon Mitchell's a lockdown, one of the best lockdown corners in the game. But he's not as versatile on the field. So thinking about it that way. Honestly, if Quinyon Mitchell went down, Cooper Dejean can replace him. Quinyon Mitchell, can he replace Cooper Dejean in the slot? I don't know. Big Dom. Yeah. AJ, Mailata. Q. Yeah. I think it's an interesting conversation how close to the top 5 he is. Your opinion hurt, man. You break my heart. I thought we were friends, Marshawn. I'm going to cry. Extending Bond was Howie's downfall. Stop. Remember, Coop has reps at safety and camp. Perhaps in high leverage moments, Vic trusts this new guy at nickel more than McCoob at safety. There's another, and that's what I'm talking about, Keith. This is all about Vic Fangio constantly saying all he wants is the best 11 players on the field at one time. Okay? And he'll make it work with what he's got. Positionless football on defense to an extent. Obviously, a Jalen Carter is always going to be a defensive tackle, but he comes off the edge. If you look at this Eagles team, I don't think that maybe 1 or 2 players on this Eagles defense can't do multiple roles on the defense. Okay? There's always, everybody can do multiple things. You think we should have kept Isaiah Rodgers or Slay? I mean, obviously, yeah, we should have. Hindsight's 2020. I was shocked we didn't keep Isaiah Rodgers. Utterly shocked at him. Darius Slay, I expected to go, but in hindsight, would be better than Ringo or Dory Jackson at this point. We have so many studs. We do have a lot of studs on this team. If both Cooper and Jalen Carter's contracts are up right now, and you to pick between, oh, stop. Now you're just you're egging me on in a trolling style. I'm probably keeping Cooper Dejean over Jalen Carter. It's a very unpopular opinion, but I probably am. Trading away Huff is a misstep. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a misstep. I mean, didn't he get hurt? Honestly, joking aside, I know he had like 4 or 5 sacks before he got hurt. But yeah, what do you call an old snowman? I don't know. Best 11 on the field means get the rookies off. I don't know if that's necessarily true. If you're taking, I know you're hard on the rookies, and I know you're hard on Jihaad Campbell, but Jihaad Campbell has been a really solid for a rookie this year. But obviously he has work to do with Nakobe Dean being back. We are still recovering from trading Wentz. I know, exactly. How dare we? By the end of the year, I think the defense will get together and be top 3 deep. I predicted that. On the previous show, we talked about people were like, oh, well, what did the defense be? And I said, they're going to be bad at first, and they are going to get better. By the middle of the season, they'd be around the top 10. By the end of the year, they'd be back in the top 5. I don't know. Kind of trending that way. I don't know where they're ranked right now, but I'm keeping Cooper. Honestly, it's crazy. Is that insane? Hold on, I'm writing that down. That's a Twitter poll for later. Coop or Carter? I'm writing that down. I'll put that vote out there and remind me tomorrow, Marshawn, and we'll go over the results. Rodgers should have been the keeper. Slay was on the downtrend. He's playing well in Pittsburgh, though. Yeah. Isaiah Rodgers, if in hindsight, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Isaiah Rodgers, they were your 3 main guys at positions that we're struggling at this year that we let go, right? If you could go back and keep one, who would it be? I would say it'd be Isaiah Rodgers easily, right? Wooder. What about Wooder? Are we going Wooder again? Huff is injured. I thought I saw him get injured with that jokes. Oh, the snowman. I thought you were going down something else. You just wanted me to say Wooder again. Steen Pick is saving Howard right now. You saw my snowman mug? There it is, yeah. It's cold. For me, this is cold ass weather. So, yeah, got the snowman mug out already. Steen is a starter on most NFL offensive lines, and he's a starter on ours. Coop is number 5. I'm putting 5, 6 right around there. He's a very important part of this team. Is Coop considered a – oh, my God, stop. Not even reading that. Of course, we're ignoring the elephant in the room, which is we failed to retain Kenny. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Set myself up for that one, not knowing that. Eagles are ranked 22nd so far. Wow. They got a lot of work to do, Adam, to get into the top 3. But they are starting to turn a slight corner. It definitely feels like something different there. I would have kept Rodgers because it would keep the quarterback from pulling the trigger. So, yeah, I mean, you look at problems on the edge. Having Josh Sweat would be helpful right now. Milton Williams would help the rotation on the defensive line a little bit right now. So, I get it. And I'm voting for Isaiah Rodgers, too, if I put that out there to the universe. But I think Sweat would be a consideration as well. I don't know what kind of season Sweat's having, though. Huff was not interested in Vic's dropping coverage stuff. To be honest, I don't like Vic's D-line stuff. If I see one more 3rd and long, convert it. Yeah, look, it works. I don't like it either. I find it weird when I see defensive linemen dropping back into coverage. But, I mean, he's been around the league for how long, and he's a legend. So I got to respect his knowledge on the game in that, I guess. Guys, if you haven't, we got 17 people watching right now. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button, and vote on the poll question. Please. We got to get more black dudes, I guess. John Mechie is the 2025 Frank Gore. No, he actually suited up and had 4 catches this year. Coop is obviously a T. Mechie is our Justin Jefferson. Mechie was just a waste. And I look, it didn't hurt as much because all you gave up is Harrison Bryant and a pick swap. But yeah. Rodgers would have been the easier keeper. The other were way more expensive. Yeah, well, Sweat and Milt took really large contracts. Slay only had a 1-year contract, I think it was. Yeah, they're obviously big contracts. To Rodgers is not so big, but you just think about it. In a player by player situation, yeah, I get it. But Coop over Carter is still such an interesting question, and I think it's a deeper, a harder question to answer than people realize. It really is. But again, it goes down to having what's more important. The best 11 guys on the field or guys with defined roles that Cooper has to be a slot or outside guy or whatnot. Everybody. is missing Miss Jennifer Slay, for sure. Not just her bread pudding or banana bread pudding, whatever it was. Oh, man. Needless to say, though, whatever with this trade, whatever it means, the vibes are starting to get better with this Eagles team. Michael Carter will take a few weeks to get the defense down. And that's the other thing. People are like, oh, he's going to step in, be your slot corner. Coop's going to go to the outside. No. Ja'Cory Bennett's been here since the second day of training camp. And I know he's been hurt, but could not get on the field. It takes time to learn these schemes and these defenses. Especially Michael Carter being in the slot takes a long time. I mean, Cooper Dejean and his pedigree, it wasn't until week 6 last year till Vic Fangio trusted him. Anybody that thinks that Michael Carter's going to be on the field next week against Green Bay is crazy. They're not going to trust him quick enough. For sure, she's awesome. She is awesome. Coop and Q's contract will be up together. Who you picking? I'm trading somebody else. I'm doing whatever I can to keep both, Marshawn. There's no way I'm picking either. I would give up almost anybody on this team to keep both of them. There's probably a list of like 3 players I would not retain when that time comes. An underrated aspect of Coop is his physicality in the run game, which supposedly, according to reports, and I don't know, if this is true or not, but from media people that I read articles on this Carter kid, that Michael Carter is supposedly a very good run defender as well. The conversation is more centered around, Keith, the fact of the poll question that people have been saying since day one, you got to move Coop to the outside because, he's your best option. That's why this conversation is coming up, because Howie traded for a slot guy, not an outside guy. This conversation is brought up because of the situation we're in. I don't think it's a comparison or a conversation of comparing their skill sets because, hands down, Coop's way better of a cornerback than Carter. It's how does Carter fit into this defense? What does it mean for this defense? What does it mean for that outside cornerback position? That's why the conversation needs to be had. Yes, it is unmatched. She's a special. Oh my God, I see this. Oh my God, come on, Anna Hortford. If you know that reference, is the GOAT. Okay, of social media troll jobs and most awkward sister in the world. Jen Slay was better looking. Jen Slay more active with the fans. Jen Slay liked the fans. Jen Slay liked to be here. Anna Horford was hilarious. But Anna Horford was the king of all kings, okay? And a lot of marriages got ended because of Anna Horford. If you don't know, I don't know if I should get into it. How good has VJ been? And you doubted the great Daryl Morey's ability to draft. I never doubted his ability to draft talent. I doubted his ability to build a winning basketball team. VJ Edgecombe, by the way, I did write it down, as of yesterday, has taken over the betting odds lead to be Rookie of the Year from Cooper Flagg. 4 games into the season, he is now the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. He's plus 110. Cooper Flagg is now plus 115. Next best would be Dylan Harper at 16-1. VJ Edgecombe makes me want to care about basketball again. Plain and simple. Milt Jackson knew about vibes too. I know about vibes. Question, will Carter help us stop the bleeding? Ringo had a decent game against the Giants. Is that a turning point for him? Yeah. Honestly, in my opinion, first and foremost, I think Bennett starts against the Packers in the outside in nickel formation. Carter will help us feel less worried if somebody gets hurt, is what I think. I think that is the role of this trade. Anna Horford is built like a king, like LeBron King. We had an easy 2 wins against terrible teams. Green Bay will be a much tougher test. It's a much, much tougher test. And I haven't looked into their stats, like individual stats, but obviously they don't have an A.J. Brown elite wide receiver, but they got 3 or 4 really solid wide receivers. They got a good tight end. They're a good team. They're a team that can beat you multiple ways. It's on the road. We're coming off our bye. It's interesting. Who does Green Bay have this week? Let me check. I haven't even looked. They have an easy layup win this week against the Carolina Panthers. I know, I just jinxed that right there for them. It's going to be the next 2 games are going to be extremely difficult. How much of James Harden's game do you see in Maxey? I'm not giving James all the credit, but he helps Maxey a lot in these 2 hours. Interesting that you bring up James Harden, because today is the anniversary of the show of talking about James Harden being traded to Clippers. 2 years ago today, we traded James Harden away. Well, 2 years ago today, we talked about the trade that happened the night before. I said it when we traded James Harden. James Harden didn't play right away, Marshawn. How much coaching he was doing of Maxey on the sideline. Maxey learned a lot from James Harden. He didn't take over his personality or his attitude, but the game of basketball, he learned and soaked up a lot of knowledge. So a lot of credit for Maxey's success does come from James Harden. Bennett, we didn't get to see too much of him. And Vic Fangio spoke about that on Tuesday, Duck, that we want to see. He still wants to see what Ja'Cory Bennett's capable of. Line that shit up, Green Bay. Oh, I'm not saying we're losing. Not sure if we are or aren't. Haven't made that thought process yet. But I do know it's going to be much different than playing the Giants or even the Vikings. Ringo will always turns like 68 Buick. Oh, he can't turn those hips. He doesn't have power steering. Yeah, he's got some issues. And Harden did a lot for him. He did. Look, James Harden is going to be one of those Sixers we look back on and think of differently in the future. He was least of the problems during the process era. He was less of a problem than we realized. Now it ended so horribly. Well, maybe he wasn't wrong. Maybe we look at James Harden in a similar light to T.O. We all couldn't wait to get the drama out of here. But then you're like, oh, shit. The drama was right. The drama had a point. Is there a comparison to James Harden's time with T.O.'s? Taking a lot of notes today. Did my mouse just die? No, there we go. These next 2 games are going to be a real test for this team. Like I said yesterday, if we go 1-1 in the next 2 games, that's a win for us. Now, I want to be 2-0, but 1-1 would be a massive success for this team in the next 2 games. Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Lions and Packers. I mean, that's the two of the biggest threats to our conference championship. I don't fear Jordan Love or the Green Bay team. I'm not saying it won't be difficult. Yeah, exactly. It's really weird. I don't see them on the same level. I don't see Green Bay as a Super Bowl champion. They're a really good team. Chris Franklin put them ahead of the Lions yesterday, and they didn't get a chance to follow that up with him. But he definitely said yesterday that he sees Green Bay as the biggest test for the Eagles. And I think that's very wrong. I think it's Detroit still. Detroit did lock up Aiden Hutchinson to a huge contract yesterday for 4 years. You afford to pay both Q and Coop by paying one of them slot cornerback money, which is substantially less. See, I don't think that's the case. I think even if Cooper Dejean stayed in the slot his whole career, Howie would pay him comparable to an outside guy because he's that special and that important to the success of this team and defense. Harden wasn't wrong. Morey didn't honor his word. It's just, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I remember looking back on T.O. and being like, dude, I was so for Donovan. Don't bring that drama. Just suck it up. Deal with it. You know, you signed the contract, play it. Harden wanted his deal. And now looking back, I was like, damn, I was wrong about T.O. T.O. was right. I wanted Harden out of here because of the drama. I think Harden was right. T.O. showed up in the big games, unlike Harden. Yeah, I'm talking about comparing their short stretch in Philly and very, very dramatic exits in Philly. We get out of these 2 weeks is a stamp on our control of the NFC. Absolutely. If you can find a way to get 2, both of them, my God, season's over for everybody. If you go 1-1, that's great. But as I think it was Noom said yesterday, being 6-4 and losing both of them isn't the end of the world. We have built up a 3-game lead in our division for a reason. Not sold on Love as him for the Packers. I mean, he's him for the Packers. Love is one of those guys where I don't think the Packers would ever move on from him anytime soon. He is going to be their franchise guy for the next 3 to 5 years at a minimum. But I don't know if he's him where he is not going to put the team on his back and carry them to a Super Bowl. Green Bay is 5th in points for, 10th in points against. Yeah, I mean, they give up a lot of points and they score a lot of points. They're a damn good football team. But I don't think they're scary in a championship setting. Maybe Green Bay has the talent, but that intangible to win is something they don't have. Micah never won, but he's still. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few highlight clips here and there. How has Micah done in Green Bay? I'm not just asking how many sacks does he have. Like, is he help? I mean, obviously, they're 10th most points given up. Their defense is not elite, obviously. But has he played at that elite level this year for Green Bay? I don't even know. Numbers don't lie. They don't. T.O. is not right at all. I mean, why? I mean, I think he might have been right to an extent. We've already beat Tampa and the Rams, which will be huge in tiebreak. Absolutely. Again, and that goes to that theory that why these vibes are so high. 6-2 is an amazing start. Considering that we beat Tampa, we beat the Rams, we lost to the Broncos, but we played the Broncos. We beat Dallas, who for some reason think they're playoff teams. We beat the Chiefs. The games we have won this year and the games we have played this year, 6-2 at this point is like being 8-0 other seasons. My colleague is a big Green Bay fan. He's going to be upset when the Eagles beat them. Too bad. He's a good guy, and I don't want to see him cry like a baby. Yeah, Eagles 9th for 18th against. Our defense has been atrocious. We know that. Our defense has not been good, but it's getting better. Packers fans are annoying. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything bad about Packer fans. Anybody still there? I'm still here. Sorry, power outage, guys. Let's see what I missed here. I wonder if anybody is still in the room. Let me know. Anybody is still here, let me know. It says there's 13 people watching. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm back. Power outage. Sudden power outage, man. Sudden power outage in the middle of a show. But I might end the show soon because the lights have flickered a few more times. Anyway, let's see what we got going here. I don't even know what we were talking about at that point anymore. Joe Banner pulled the plug. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Check. We're here. We're back up and running. We're back up and running. I mean, we're back up and running. My setup is not back up and running, but we're back up and running. That was a good 5 minutes down? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Shit happens. Power outages happen. I don't think I've had a power outage, but like maybe once or twice in the years of doing this show. I'm normally pretty lucky with the power department where I live that I don't live in areas that get overloaded too long with power outages and stuff. Pizza shop, that's another subject, but the big problem is that I don't get cell phone service in my house. So like this program I use to stream, I can log into it on my cell phone and do it from my phone. But the problem is I don't get cell phone service in my house. Like literally, I went to 5 different corners to try to log in just to come back on to tell you guys, look, power outage, and I couldn't do it. That's the big problem. I don't think Hurricane Melissa has gotten anywhere near us yet. Not at all. This is a nor'easter that hit the Outer Banks recently. So it's going to rain like crazy all day today. Still victim of the government shutdown. Yeah, exactly. The poll's still up. I'm still trying to get all my shit back up on my screen, so I don't know what's going on yet. Can I complain the NFL is on TV too much Thursday and Saturday games? And then now you got Black Friday this year. Don't forget about Black Friday this year. There will come a point in time, Tatsuya, where we are watching football 7 days a week. I guarantee you. Mitchy Poo, you came back just in time since the show shut down. We had a little power outage issue here. Not sure how the fact that I was still streaming, like, doesn't it like cut off at some point? Get ready for more when they go to 18 games. I believe there will be a situation where we're watching football 7 days a week. I really do. All right, let's see. We got 14 likes on this. The poll is 70-30. Yes, Coop should be the outside cornerback. What? Wait, what? I had a power outage. So there's about 5 minutes of dead time if you go back there. I just got back up on and streaming here. But I guess StreamYard didn't shut the stream down when the power outage happened. So it was still going. I got to figure out a way to have a better chance to shut it down. It just kept streaming without me on the screen. It is what it is. I would have thought there was like a shutdown period. Even right now, my phone's not connected to the Wi-Fi, or my phone ain't connected to shit right now. Why isn't my phone connected to the Wi-Fi? Now it is. Got it. All right. Well, it's not really TV. You get fined for dead air. No. Yeah. Look, today's one of those days we've mentioned Pierre Robert a couple times, but we also obviously have to remember the voice of school closings, Harry Donahue, that also passed away. Okay? You can't forget about Harry Donahue. All right? The great Harry Donahue. If you're old enough, you know Harry Donahue's voice from schools in this county. School 691, 692, 693, all closed. 694, 2-hour delay. 695, 696, closed. All Philadelphia parochial schools are closed. You can't forget it. I just saw it flicker on the screen again. We might call this one an early day. 1060s, a snow report. I mean, as a kid, all you did was you woke up and you waited and you waited to hear your school number close. I don't remember what Holy Cross was, my school growing up. But, yeah, he did Temple sports, too. He did. I think he played basketball at Temple, too. Legend. He also had a golf show that, like, aired at, like, 12 o'clock at night, 2 in the morning, stuff like that, on NBC Sports, talking about golf courses and restaurants and bars and stuff. He was a legend. One of the greats right there. The scary part of that is my wife always says things happen in 3. We lost Pierre Robert and Harry Donahue. So who's the next one to go this week? It's crazy. It's sad. Anyway, at least we're back up and running for now. I might just have to, I don't know, we'll see. If the internet flickers one more time, then we'll wrap it up. But we'll keep going. We'll see if we can get back in the flow of the conversation here. Not sure if we can or not, but the flow is kind of killed in moments like that. So bring what you got to the conversation. Adam, I just saw your message. I didn't get your message because I was off the Wi-Fi. I don't get a cell phone signal in this house. Not at all. Yeah, absolutely. But honestly, I mean, 70 years old, is it really that old? I mean, that's a sign. I got to cut it off. We're gonna. That was the power didn't even go out that time. I can't use the data on my phone because I don't get a signal in this house without the data. We're gonna unfortunately have to cut it off right there. That's just one too many power outages for me. One power outage, 2 internet drops. Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up there. I'm gonna go have myself another cup of coffee. It's the internet, it's the power, it's nasty out there. Real quick, I do want to shout out my dad. Today would have been his 78th birthday. We lost him at 51 years old many long time ago, so happy birthday to my dad. Good luck to my brother. He's having surgery tomorrow on a broken leg. And, yeah, again, final thoughts. Good citizens, thank you for hanging in with me today. Good citizens. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to get this thing back up and run. Hopefully the weather clears up and we are good to go. You all have a great day. Bubbles up.